Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yes, I got it back. All right, cool. Hey everybody. Dun 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 dun. Hey everybody, this is True Powers Mine, and this is TPIM SR Live. Thank you, Most High, for allowing me yet again to get on this microphone and share truth this day. This came from a confidential informant here in the United States. They sent me this article, this very troubling article to review. Brother Marty, peace and power. Welcome to the show. Glad the Most High got you up and in here. Let me fix this. Now, I want to do a couple of things. One, as we get closer to the inevitable collapse, economic collapse, I want you to remember this particular show, because there's nothing new here, folks. And all the information I'm going to bring you today, it isn't behind CIA hidden vaults. It isn't buried under files in the FBI's office. It's right here at the click of your fingertips. So let's start with this first little segment, and then we're going to move on.
It was the quietest I ever heard Walmart. I could not believe it.
Tracy Jenkins and fellow Walmart shoppers could not believe their ears Sunday night.
Attention, Walmart customers, all Black people, leave the store now. To my shock and just total disgust.
Angry is an understatement.
Bernetta Durazio's 6-year-old daughter, Jasmine, was one of hundreds.
Okay, let's get this right up in the open right now. You can get angry all you want, but no one cares. That's the whole point of being powerless and a victim to a system of racism. Frustration, anger goes along with the territory, but you're going to have to do more than just be frustrated and angry about it. Let's continue.
Inside the store when someone, whether a customer or an employee, got hold of the store's intercom system and advised Black people to leave.
The apology took a long time and a lot of pushing from the guest saying, what are you going to do? Is this okay? Is this what you tolerate?
This is something that happened that left a part of this community scared.
If it were a prank, there's only one person laughing, and it's certainly not us. If it's a employee of Walmart, obviously, I believe that takes it to another level. And that's something definitely the corporate officers have to review their policies and their procedures.
Walmart released a statement that reads in part, "We're as appalled by this as anyone. Clearly, this is unacceptable. We are currently reviewing our systems to prevent this from happening in the future."
I teach my children about tolerance.
Hold on, before she gets into her spill. Brother Bird, welcome to the show. Peace and power. Now, you're going to sit here and tell me that Walmart, with all the security cameras, they can't see someone going to one of their phones? All of their phones are underneath the band of security, the visual camera systems. All they have to do is just look at each and every phone in that place and identify it, and then they can see the perpetrator. But the point is, they don't care. Quiet as kept, Walmart's leadership feels the same way as the person that said that announcement on the phone. And you can tell by the way they treat their employees how much humanity and love they have. But listen to this poor woman here and what she's upset. She's not upset about the attitudes of these motherfuckers. She's upset about how it interferes with her style of parenting. Check this out. Where is it at?
Acceptance and diversity. About tolerance.
Sure.
I teach my children about tolerance, acceptance, and diversity. So for me now to explain to them why someone would make such a disgusting comment about Black people, I'm just not prepared to do that.
So she's prepared to allow her children to go off into the night, oblivious to the dangers awaiting them. She's prepared to give her children this cupcake, idealized world where there's no hate, there's no bigotry, there's no violence, potentially. But that's not the world in which we live in. This world is predicated on violence. That's where the authority on this world comes from. If you have the power to hurt, to maim, to oppress, then you have the power to lead, unfortunately, in this world. Jump over here real quick. Millennials' attitudes are much more similar to those of older whites than they are to those of their peers of color. To break that down for the layman, they don't give a fuck about what you have to say, friend. They care about what granddaddy has to say and daddy, because they flipping the bill. One of the most important conversations that has begun in the wake of the Dylan Roof racist attack in Charlotte, South Carolina, was to do with racism amongst members of the millennial generation. We have placed a lot of faith in this generation to pull us out of our racist past. But Roof's action may help remind us that racism will not go away simply by passing of time. Exactly. The only way that shit goes away with passing of the dime. You want to end racism? Give reparations out. Make people economically viable. So then all these sociological tropes that people are up underneath because of the economic system will not be valid anymore. But as long as they know that you're going to go out there and spend your last dollar on bullshit because you're looking for something to validate yourself and make you feel good because of this oppressive system you're under collectively, then of course they're not going to have no love for you. And you expect the people who get the benefits of white supremacy to somehow stop it or reject it. You're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. Let's scroll down a little more. In fact, data from the General Social Survey, one of the most trusted social science data set, suggested that millennials are failing to make dramatic strides towards non-racist utopia. Now, why would they take away their privilege and goodies? Why? They like to be able to walk down the street and kick people in the ass and drink and drive and do drugs and gamble and prostitution. And when they get caught, just a little slap on the wrist. Now, you know you shouldn't have done that. Now, if you do it, my friend, the total letter of the law. We have to make an example of you, you scum. Attitudes amongst white millennials in green below are statistically identical to whites in Generation X yellow and hardly different from baby boomers on most measured orange. Whites are about as likely as Generation X. And here's the bullet points. To think that blacks are lazy or less hardworking than whites, once again, economics. To think that blacks have less motivations than whites to do well, once again, economics. To oppose living in a neighborhood that is 50% or more black, once again, economic. To object if a relative marries a black person. Now that's sociological genetic. Okay. So what's this report saying? It's saying that these millennials think that black folks are lazy and not smart, and we're not motivated to do well. Tate, welcome to the show. Bird, welcome to the show. Peace and power. And David, brother David, peace and power. Welcome to the show. See, the problem is whenever you have been disinherited, whenever you have been disenfranchised, the little things to you means the world. Mama Bear, peace and power. Welcome to the show. Haven't seen you in a minute. I'm glad you made it here. So therefore, when you go out into the world and you're seeking just self-gratification instead of trying to do some sort of wealth building or make plans for a permanent future, then you're going to come off as being flighty. You're going to come off as being flaky. You're going to come off as being basically irrelevant. How many people back in the day died over those little Walkman headsets, that play the tape recorders? How many people were beat up over cars? Or how many people lost their life behind some subwoofers? All this material stuff. That's what happens when you're in a state of poverty. And this is what I'm talking about today. Now, it should be no big shock that racism is alive and well in the United States and basically the globe. because there is a benefit to being a part of certain groups. And for you to sit there, or anyone to sit there and think that the offspring of this group is going to give up those goodies without a fight, you are sadly mistaken. Now, I know a lot of people are about reparations, and there are some people who aren't about reparations. They want to somehow equate reparations with basically selling out your ancestors or something crazy like that. But it's not that at all. See, you can still get your reparation money, and then that could fund you to do research to really draw out the truth of what happened to the ancestors during slavery. It can give you money to do research so you can actually find out where are your people truly from. It can give you money to actually start a little business, and you can hire your family and kin. It gives you the opportunity to engage in reality. That's what money does. It provides you the opportunity to fully engage in reality. If you think I'm lying, try making it in this world without money. Just try it. I mean, many of you already have, not through any fault of your own. See, this is one aspect of racism that we don't want to talk about. We never want to bring in the money component. It's always oh man, you're getting your ass kicked, you're getting lynched, you're getting beat down. Okay. But the reason why you're getting your ass kicked and beat down and lynched is because you don't have the money to provide weaponry or training with said weapon to defend yourself against an angry mob. The reason why your neighborhoods, and the reason why Reginald Smith, welcome to the show. Peace and power. Sister CJ, peace and power. Welcome to the show. The reason why this reparation thing is really not getting the traction it deserves is because a lot of our leadership realize if us lower peons or serfs or peasants or slaves, wage slaves below them ever get economic viability, then guess what? We don't need you, Jack. You can go back to leading your chick and your kids. I can lead me and mine as well. But see, this is the problem. The system of white supremacy rewards our leaderships for keeping us stagnant. It rewards our leadership for actually helping us to backpedal. Why do you think all these churches have prayer dancers and all the rappers in church? Because they're desperately trying to remain relevant. They're desperately trying to keep those collection plates rolling in with nickels and quarters. It's not working, of course, because there's some other fundamental issues that they're failing to address when we come to organized religions and their practices. All right, let's go on down just a little bit more on this, and then we're going to hit a video. And they are slightly more likely than white members of Generation X to think that blacks are blacks are less intelligent than whites. So much for millennials' rescues from racism. Sister Barbara, peace and power. Welcome to the show. You see, when we look at the devastating effects of racism, not just on an individual level, because I'm sure many of you in the chat room have your own personal experience dealing with this monster. But when we look at it as a collective state of being, now you understand why once one of us gets a little money, maybe a little fame, publicity, we actually think we made it to the damn promised land. It's all over. No, it's not over. Look at many of our black men that made money, and then before they die or before they get out the game, all that money goes right back in the system through legalities. Maybe they get sued. Maybe they have some sort of criminal actions taken against them. They get robbed. This thing is guaranteed. As long as you don't realize it, as long as you don't face it, it's going to continue on. And let's just be honest, brothers and sisters, if the shoe was on the other foot, would you really be quick to change the shit? If you know that you just get out of bed and just because you're melanated, bam, you get access to loans. Bam, you get access to good schools. Bam, you get access to be treated like a king by the police officers. Bam, you get your pick of the litter when it comes to reproductive choices in the greater society on the average. You see, there's more to this economic viability than just a damn check, which needs to be cut, by the way, but there's more to it than just that. And that's why there's so much resistance against reparations for Black folks in the United States of America. I want to be explicitly clear today. A lot of people do not want to see us come up, because if we come up, then their prestige and power goes down. And a lot of these people out here, if they can't abuse you, if they can't mistreat you, if they can't somehow manipulate you, then they themselves don't want to live. And to them, I say, good riddance. Peace out, motherfucker. Get the fuck off my planet. I don't want your old stupid crazy ass here anyways. I want to see my brothers and sisters prosper. I want to see them fulfilled. And I want to see them fucking happy. But that's not the game, y'all. Well, Dylan Roof's parents was teaching him about hate and the great achievement of the white race. This is what the victim's parents was being taught.
Future. I teach my children about tolerance, acceptance, and diversity.
Now, that's what every one of those souls in that Charleston church had in their heart. They had acceptance. Come on in, Dylan. They had diversity. He doesn't look like us. He's different. And what did he have for them? A 9mm with hollow point fucking bullets to the fucking head. Merry fucking Christmas. Now, I'm not saying you should be a suspect of everybody that comes around you. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying what you need to do, though, is get on board the reparation train, because you have a vested interest in economic viabilities of your brothers and sisters. Now, you might not like your brothers and sisters. You might not get along with them on a personal level, whatever the case may be. But at this point in time, you would have to be a damn fool not to back reparations for descendants of slaves in the United States of America. And let's just open this can of worms up. What would reparations really achieve? How could reparations truly reshape the whole world? Well, that's a great question. Just think what could be done in the third world nations, brothers and sisters, when we had folks in the United States with money that doesn't have to go towards bills. It doesn't have to go towards food. It doesn't have to go towards entertainment. It's truly extra money. Guess what? Then we can start funding Ghana. We can start funding South Africa. We can start funding excuse me, we can start funding native peoples all over the world. We don't have to go to the IMF no more. We don't have to go to none of these banks no more. We can call it Liberty Dollars. We get the reparation check. We take care of our business. Then we see the real folks out there, not the bourgeois, not the fucking Sambos of the shithole countries. You know, the ones that the European powers put into power so that they can continue to rape the countries of resources. See, we already know who those people are. We can bypass those people and give the money to the people who really want to see freedom and prosperity for those in Kemet, for those in Australia, for those in South Africa, for those in South America, Central America, and United States. But wait, there's more. Once we get our act together, once we get our economic viability situated, now we can start helping out our impoverished brothers and sisters of different persuasions. If you want to. If you don't, then just go on about your business. But say, I'm in it for all humanity. But it has to start with us. We have to be set right. Then we can do the rest of it. But it doesn't make no sense trying to free everybody else while there's still a chain on our neck. This is what liberation is about. See, there's a story right now. If you guys Google this, Google police patrolling Jewish neighborhoods in New York City. The Jews get attacked. The police respond, but they don't go to the Jewish areas to be stopping, frisking Jews and smacking them around and raping their women. No, they actually go there to protect them from basically the white haters, because that's who's attacking the Jewish people. But whenever there's a tragedy like that in our neighborhoods, do we get that type of police love and response? No, because we are not economically viable. That's why. Now you could be, oh, it's because they're black. No, it's because we don't have any money. I mean, we do have money. I'm not saying we have money, but we don't have it in the way the Jewish community has it. We don't have it in the way the Asian community, certainly the way the white community has it. So therefore, whenever law enforcement comes to our neighborhood, it's not on a mission of upliftment. It's on a mission of suppression, because in their minds, they're already thinking you're lazy and you're dumb. So what do you do to lazy, dumb people? You just oppress them more. That's what you do. I'm sorry. If you don't want to hear the truth, then you just need to cut me off right now, because I'm giving it to you unfiltered. If you don't want to be oppressed, then you have to quit doing what oppressed people fucking do. You have to reject ignorance. You have to disassociate yourself with dishonorable people. And you have to have a game plan for economic viability. Now, it sounds great well, we're just going to leave and go somewhere else in the world. Try that action, buddy. It's going to be Black Wall Street 2.0. No, we got to defeat this beast here. And that victory will resonate throughout the rest of the world. I just cannot believe when I started to put this particular show together, all the craziness. Hold on, we're gonna jump to the history here. Man, this is so slow. This is so slow. Now watch. We're gonna go through a few series of this real quick, and I want to show you. It's funny when we catch their people acting bad. All they gotta do is apologize. But if you was to do that, man, you'll be enemy number one, and they would put you up underneath the jail. Let's do this.
A Beaverton, Oregon woman is apologizing after her racist rant against a Filipina in Portland was posted on Facebook and viewed millions of times. Filipina Selena Kyrell of Vancouver, Washington, posted the video to her Facebook page on September 12th, showing Sierra Measle and her friend next to Kyrell's car at a parking lot. The September 11 incident began when Measle insinuated that Kyrell could not drive because she's Asian, followed by more insults.
Before you say anything, you might want to make sure your actual and then pull the cost. This is going to be so good. About what?
Actual legal is code word for shut the fuck up, you dark ass nigger. I mean, seriously, that's the code word. Are you legal? Well, who determines what's legal and what's not? Oh, is it the people that steal the land, oppress the people on the land, and rape the land for all the resources? Now, could they be the ones determining who's legal and who's not? And the sad thing about it, poor members of their society is caught up in the web just like us, but somehow they feel that they're not caught because, they can ride around their car and basically insult people with impunity. Let's continue.
You're illegal crossing the border, and your parents probably had to work for years just to get here.
In her post, Kyrell said, quote, "I want to make sure she gets seen and her racist, ignorant behavior is exposed." It soon was. The video was viewed more than 2.5 million times, and netizens soon identified her. Measle, who is reportedly of Native American descent, apologized in an Instagram post for her, quote, ignorant and...
Wait. She's Native American descent. What the fuck is that supposed to be? She's another Elizabeth Warren?
hateful comments, and says she plans to turn this negative situation into a positive learning experience. Kyrell said she will eventually forgive Measle. Meanwhile, in a later post, Kyrell, who is half Filipino and half English, posted a photo of her passport with laughing emojis saying, quote, I promise I'm legal, guys.
Yeah, and I promise when after they get finished with us, once we get done with the train, you're going to be right there on the train. So all you folks basically cheerleading white nationalists and their ideology, all you folks out there doing that shit, I want you to know, okay, it's cool. You guys think that you're on something right now. You think you're above it all. But once they get finished with us, they're coming right for you. See, that chick in that car could recognize whether she's half this or half that. She wasn't all the other. And with the DNA testing, how they can just hit a person and see, dude, it's a wrap. Now, either you join us, you join humanity, and you fight back against this. You help, you push reparation for black folks. I want white folks out there pushing reparations for black folks as well. That's how you get shit done in the United States. You get some of those 007s out there, those double agents, and you get them into places so that they can talk to people and get this shit rolling. And once we are done right, then we will turn around and help right the world, make the world a world that we all can be proud of, not this piece of shit we're living in now. Now, there's more. Wait, there's more. Oh, yes, there's much more. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, I've been watching a lot of shit. Hold on. No, I don't want to do that one. I don't want to do that one. I don't want to do that one because that one's a joke. That one it actually infuriates me. It's that Trevor Noah guy and his outfit. Hold on. No, that's not the one I wanted. Right here. Now, you notice there's a lot of women talking crazy.
He is not derogatory, hateful, mean-spirited tirade, berating two shoppers at a JCPenney.
Go back to wherever the you come from, lady. Y'all think you... Hey, tell them to go back where they belong. Just because you come from another country, it'll make you nobody. You're nobody. As far as I'm concerned. Probably on welfare. The taxpayers probably paid for all that stuff. You speak English.
Reaction to this video has been swift, both online and off. Mall officials say they're trying to identify this lady, this woman, and she will be banned from the mall where it happened. Joining me by phone is Jefferson County Attorney Mike O'Connell. He is not prosecuting this, but he certainly knows the law very well in that area. Mike, thank you so much for joining me. So, first of all, the mall is working to identify her and they're going to ban her. Is the law on their side to do that?
Well, I think as far as the mall is concerned, certainly she has no legal right to be in a mall for any particular reason. So the owners of that can certainly do that if they can identify her and give her notice.
This hits any reasonable person with even an inkling of a heart in all the worst ways. Does her terrible behavior rise to the level of criminal harassment?
Of course it does.
Well, in Kentucky, I believe it certainly crosses that line. I mean, this being a citizen of Louisville and Metro here too, this is a despicable, sad event that occurred here. But yes, and it does rise to the level, I think, of harassment under Kentucky law, which...
Now, where do you think millennials are learning that nasty behavior from? There it is. Oh, granny there. That's where they learn it from. So if you're expecting some fucking resurrection of freedom and liberty coming out of this yoke, you're sadly mistaken.
in part specifies that in a public place that the person that can be charged with this if they make offensively coarse utterances, gestures, or displays.
Yeah, so brothers and sisters, when you're out there and let's say you're talking ghetto or you're talking crazy, they're gonna hit you with that law. Totally, 100%. But if you're old fucking grandma there, then yeah. Well, we'll just discuss it, it's a horrible thing. But Jamal says, man, fuck these cops. Oh man, let's take them out. Take them down to the jail and beat the shit out of me. Let's continue this madness.
They address abusive language to any person. They engage in a course of conduct or repeatedly commit acts which alarm or annoy such other person. So a lot of people believe that, and which I cherish very much too in my position as the Jefferson County Attorney, the First Amendment and the right to free speech. But this type of speech is not constitutionally protected.
A woman.
Okay. Hold on. There's more. And you're right. MW, welcome to the show. Peace and power. Oh boy, $15 an hour, which might get rid of assistance, meaning food stamps and all that, but it's too poor to afford anything. Yeah, they want you to be a fucking slave. They want you to be a slave. The only reason why they want your ass working, the only reason why they want you out there half-ass healthy is so that you can continue to work all your days, making somebody money. And then when you're finally old and washed up, they can just throw your ass off so you can die. Basically, out of sight, out of mind. There is no love for humanity here. Like over there in England, they're doing this thing where they're trying to get people off assistance. All right. If you want to get people off assistance, what we need is, economic viability. We need reparations. Straight up. Let's check this one out.
Another racist video has gone viral on social networking sites. This time showing two white motorists in a van with two black traffic officers in Potchefstroom in the Northwest Province. The altercation took place after they were pulled over for a routine inspection. Several charges have been laid against them.
One occupant of the car taunts the officer. Then the passenger manhandles him. Under extreme provocation.
Now, can you picture what would happen in America if a black motorist jumps out and beats up a white cop? The outrage.
The officer responds with restraint, but is then assaulted. This as the other official continues to write out a ticket. Throughout the scuffle, eyewitnesses can be heard shouting for the motorist to stop. It's believed the driver did not have a license. An eyewitness who refused to appear on camera says the two hurled racial insults at the officers.
And after I saw that, uttering a lot of remarks, we pay you, this badge you're wearing is our badge. You must be thankful that we are paying you. The road you are driving in is our road. Actually, you are not airtight. You must call us bus and what.
Charges include assault, criminal injuria, and hindering officers to perform their duties.
We condemn that incident very strongly, and we are following up on the matter. So we have advised him to consider a civil case because that was very bad. It lacks all.
Oh, this is what the fuck I'm talking about. This motherfucker was installed by these cats. All right. This altercation went down in Kemet. All right. The problem there is that the colonizer or European powers, they still have power over there. That's why a couple of these guys can go, look. That's why this guy can just pat him on the back. Yeah, boy. All right, I know it's a little blurry, but yeah, boy. And they ain't gonna do shit. You notice that their aggression, not so much towards the woman over here writing the ticket, is towards the dude. They're taller than dude. They're bigger than dude. If I was dude, I would. If he had a gun, it doesn't even look like he has a weapon. I would pull out my sidearm and pop them both. Went on about my business. I was scared. I was frightened. I feared for my life. But shit, that wouldn't play with us now, will it? And suddenly, now we can say, well, they shouldn't have stopped these two young lads, and maybe the cops were doing something wrong to upset them. But let's just change the racial components. Suddenly, these cops should be beating their ass, putting them in their place, bringing them to heel.
So we have advised him to consider a civil case because that was very bad. It lacks all decency that is expected from the people of this country.
22 years after democracy, racial tensions and intolerance continue to haunt the nation. And social media is laying it bare. Griselda Lewis, SABC News, in Potchefstroom.
President Donald Trump was just...
Hold on. Now let's show you how Americans deal with
the video of a white police officer forcibly pushing a black teenage girl to the ground.
Now we just saw black police officers interact in Kemet with white suspects. Now we're going to see white police officers interact with minorities, females in the United States.
That's gone viral has sparked national outrage. Many see it as the latest example of excessive force by police. Now the white teenager who recorded the incident shares his story. In the news tonight on the future of the officer under investigation in this town divided. It happened in an instant. An end of the school year pool party erupts into screaming and shoving. The latest fuel of America's lingering fire over race and justice. 15-year-old Jerry Becton, wearing the orange bikini there, thrown to the ground by a white officer. Seconds later, the situation escalates.
Now, see the big fat white guy right here is protecting the cop. He's keeping all these kids away from her so the cop can continue. And now this cop, he's on his weapon. He's about ready to draw and start firing.
Officer Eric Caseball pulls out his service weapon.
See how that interaction went a little bit different. How come those cops in Africa or Kemet, how come they didn't pull out their sidearm, start busting some ass?
Thinking it had two other unarmed teens who quickly run away. And then he returns to that girl in the bikini bathing suit, pinning her to the ground, both knees buried in her back. This video went viral in hours, now seen by almost 10 million, and the outrage has come pouring in from The View.
White kids, black kids, no kids. Nobody should be treated like that. Nobody should be manhandled like that.
Why? No, Whoopi, you're wrong. There are some people, the haters need to be manhandled like that. The people who want to do racial harm to others need to be handled like that. But as long as you sit up here giving them fucking excuses, then you're just giving them the green light to keep on busting fucking heads. Let's just be real.
I'm sorry.
To Fox News.
No doubt about it. If you obey the police, it doesn't usually happen.
No laws, no peace. Supporters of the police department voicing their feelings.
I think he did what he thought he had to do to control the situation.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! While other members of the community marched in support of the teens. And at one point, both sides coming face to face over the issue.
Nothing worse than a coward with a gun in the bag.
Now tonight, Officer Caseball, 10-year veteran of the McKinney, Texas Police Department near Dallas, has resigned.
Our practice do not support his actions. He came into the call out of control, and as the video shows, was out of control during the incident.
Oh, whatever. I wonder does the fag still get his... Oh, I'm not mean to say that. Please, YouTube, let's do over. I wonder if the man got his pension for being a cop for 10 years.
Whole key is de-escalate situations. You, the police, don't want to become part of the problem. And that's what it appears to me happened in McKinney, Texas. The police actually became part of the problem.
It all started last Friday after members of a community pool contacted police about a rowdy crowd of students who they said weren't members and were refusing to leave. Tensions flared, witnesses say, after a fight broke out between white adults who had become agitated by the behavior of some of the black teenagers. It's unclear which kids were invited and which crashed the end of the school year party. It was then Casebolt and the other officers responded to the scene.
Get on the ground. Hold up, sir. I told you to stay.
Yet as police work to disperse the curious crowd, Casebolt can be seen racing to the scene. So quickly, in fact, he trips and flips, only to continue his charge.
What did you do
He's running to beat up some black kids.
when I walked away? I'm sorry.
The officers seen and heard cursing at partygoers, he says, were trying to run from police.
Don't make me around here with 30 pounds of goddamn gear on my son because you want to screw around out here?
And then Casebolt refocuses his attention back to Jaria Becton.
He told me to keep walking, and I kept walking, and then I'm guessing he thought we were saying rude stuff to him, and he shoved me in the grass, and he started pulling back in my braids.
I just don't see in that scenario where the police were in harm's way or that the kids were harming anybody else.
Behind the camera, 15-year-old Brandon Brooks capturing 7 minutes of chaos on his phone.
Just putting random black kids on the ground. I was like one of the few Caucasian people at the party. I think it might have had something to do with racism.
But when the gun came out, Brooks worried things were about to get worse.
At that point, my heart did drop, and I was scared that someone was going to get shot and possibly killed. So I knew I had to keep on filming, because I got really scared when he pulled out his gun.
There's absolutely no reason to ever pull a gun unless deadly force is about to be used on you.
My colleague Steve Osunsami talked to members of the community who shared their relief McKinney had not turned into Ferguson or Baltimore.
What do you guys think of all this?
I think that it could have been a lot worse than what it was. Thank God it wasn't.
And uncannily predicted what few knew about Corporal Casebolt until tonight.
The way he acted, this wasn't the first time. He has a demeanor about himself to where he seems to be hothead, and thank God it was a camera.
ABC News has learned that in 2007, Casebolt was accused in a federal lawsuit of racial profiling and excessive force.
Well, duh. Do you not understand the only reason why he's a cop is so he can bust some black ass? Do you not get that? That's what this guy lives for.
During a drug search, Albert Brown Jr., who's African-American, says Casebolt and other officers slammed his head against the hood of his car. Police did find drugs. The lawsuit was dismissed. Friday's video set off a firestorm on social media with tweets like this. A police officer who feels threatened by a teenager in a bathing suit might need to reevaluate their career choice. The officer has supporters as well. The situation in McKinney would not have escalated to what it did if everyone would have done what they were told to do by authorities. Read another tweet. Tonight we hear from one of the teens that tried to help the young girl on the ground.
He started manhandling her, and you can hear people in the video screaming. And the way he had her, I kind of freaked out, oh my gosh, he's hurting her. So I started telling him, officer, please stop, you're hurting her.
18-year-old Adrian Martin says he lost his footing trying to help the girl on the ground. And that's why it looks like he lunged at the officer.
It looks like I'm lunging towards the officer, but as you can see, the incline, I slipped because I got bumped into twice accidentally.
At one point, Adrian says he felt like he was looking down the barrel of Corporal Eric Casebolt's gun.
I was thinking...
That's why it's important to have a gun. I'm sorry, but that's why it's important to have a gun. You see how all the bullshit stops? Once the gun comes out, whoever's thinking they're badass, all suddenly they become fast ass and start beating feet down the other way. Now, if all them kids would have been armed, this situation would have went down totally different. If Michael Brown would have had a gun, it would have went totally different. Trayvon would have had a gun, totally different. The folks up there in the church with Dylan Roof, they would all had guns, totally different situation. But see, no one wants to say it like that. Because in essence, we're not meant to be having guns. We're meant to have bullets inside of us. That's what we're meant to be. But I say reject that, arm yourself, use your weapon, learn how to handle it safely, especially if you have children or older folks in the home, even pets. But make sure you're able to protect yourself. Don't be a runner and pray that he doesn't squeeze it, because you can't outrun a bullet. You'd be better off just to stay in your ground. He pulls out his, you pull out yours.
I'm about to get shot. Is this it? And that's why I started running.
Adrian Martin was arrested and charged with evading arrest and interfering with the police officer.
Adrian, you good, bro?
Adrian says that Case Bolt was the only officer that was out of hand.
There were some professional officers that were doing their job right. They were being respectful, but this one officer, he was taking it out of hand. He was real aggressive.
And the McKinney police chief seems to agree.
I had 12 officers on the scene. 11 of them did exactly what we would want them to do.
And while watching the press conference about Officer Case Bolt's resignation, Adrian learns all the charges against him have been dropped.
That case has been dropped.
Honestly, I'm just really happy. I'm ready to move forward.
Another flashpoint endured. What fallout may follow.
What fallout may follow. Not a damn thing. Here's the sad reality. Most of us are so beaten down, so broken. All we care about is another plate of beans, another day to work. Most people don't care about no justice. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let's do it one more. Brother David, hold on. Brother David, they're not going to counterclaim nothing. That little brother's just happy to be alive. Yeah, how's the boss?
Get out, you fucking little fuck bitch! Get out! Get out! When I rip it out of you,
Wait till she's gone, those cow guy.
Wow.
Hold on.
A number of recent incidents in this country have highlighted how racial tension or bias, even what social scientists call unconscious bias, can escalate. This spring and summer, those concerns have taken on new urgency and risen to national attention, as otherwise routine events have turned into confrontations among citizens and sometimes with the police. Yamiche Alcindor explores this issue further now. It's part of our Race Matters reporting.
Several of the latest confrontations have involved white citizens calling police on African Americans engaged in typical everyday activities, including a 12-year-old mowing lawns near Cleveland, Ohio, 2 men barbecuing at a public park in Oakland, California, or this 8-year-old girl selling bottled water without a permit outside the San Francisco Giants ballpark. The woman who called police here being captured on cell phone video posted by the girl's mother.
Girl, you can hide all you want. The whole world gonna see you, boo.
Yeah, and illegally selling water without a permit? Yeah.
On my property.
It's not your property.
The woman who made the call later apologized and denied her actions were racially motivated. Most of the incidents took place outside and in public and were caught on video that often went viral. While none of those incidents resulted in arrests or charges being filed.
Now, this one's the nastiest one of all. Running around up there, her ass should went to jail for wearing a damn thong.
They followed other high-profile confrontations, including one in May that took a much more violent turn. Police in Warsaw, North Carolina, responded to a call from Waffle House employees over an alleged argument with a black patron. An officer slammed 22-year-old Anthony West into a wall and choked him. They said West, who had taken his sister to her high school prom earlier that night, was uncooperative. He was later charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. The CEO of Waffle House later apologized to West privately. And in early April, 2 black men were arrested in a Philadelphia Starbucks when employees called police because the men had taken a table without ordering anything. The men were later released and settled with the city for $1 each and a pledge to establish a program for young entrepreneurs.
Wait. Settle for $1 each? What the hell? Hold on.
$1 each and a pledge without ordering anything. The men were later released and settled with the city for $1 each and a pledge to establish a program for young entrepreneurs. The founder of Starbucks personally apologized to the men.
As I shared with you in Philadelphia, it was...
Man, you know what? At this point, you can keep your fucking apology, man. Why don't you fucking, tell some of your people to settle the shit down? You don't need to apologize. You need to start pointing out who are the troublemakers, I guess, on your team. Fucking getting beat up, choked out, and shit. Oh, here's $1, and we'll have some sort of entrepreneur, and probably be all gay white men that gets the money because don't forget they are minorities, right?
It's a reprehensible situation that we took complete ownership of, and something that really was embarrassing, horrifying, and all the issues that we talked about that day.
And the company closed thousands of its stores nationwide a month later for a one-day employee training session on how to recognize and overcome implicit or unconscious bias in their decision-making. All of this comes at a time when police behavior and response is under scrutiny, particularly when it comes to detaining and arresting Black people. On June 19th,
man, you're almost at this stage of the game, better be happy if they take your ass in alive. At least I didn't get shot up. Thank you, boss. You just cracked my skull, boss.
Police in East Pittsburgh shot and killed 17-year-old Antoine Rose as he fled a car. The vehicle was stopped during the investigation of a drive-by shooting. Rose was shot 3 times in the back as he ran. The officer who fired the shots was later charged with criminal homicide.
Many of these incidents have taken on hashtags and memes of their own, often referred to as living while Black. We examine the concerns and some of the responses with the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson, thanks so much for being here. I want to jump right in. There have been incident after incident of people calling the police on Black people while doing regular everyday things like swimming and barbecuing. What do you think is at the heart of these incidents?
Well, we've seen since the president election in 2016 an increase of intolerance. You have individuals who...
Oh, come on, man. Give a brother a damn microphone. He talks some nonsense forever, man. If you think that this shit has been, I don't know where these people been living. I've seen this shit all my life. So there's nothing new here. This ain't no epiphany to me. Oh my God, I can't believe they're no, motherfuckers let you know what they think. If you listen, shut the fuck up and listen, they'll let you know just how little they like you, how much they basically despise you. So while we're sitting here on this old crazy shit, let's try to get some sort of let's try to get some sort of accordance, and we're not on the real shit. Let's get some tangibles like reparation, so we become economically viable. So that when shit like this happens, you can afford a fucking attorney. You can afford some private investigators to get you some information, so you can go up into court with. And we'll play this last one, and then we'll wrap it up. Hold on.
A number of...
No, go ahead.
Well, shut your mouth then. Because you know what? You're dealing with a Canadian woman right now, and I will leap across the table and punch you right in your mouth.
Now, was that a threat? I'll leap right across the table and punch you in your fucking mouth. Let's listen to this again.
Across the table and punch you right in your mouth.
Well, you're the one who's...
Because you're a ignorant prick, is what you are. Yeah, you're funny, eh? Holy. Go back to your country. We don't need...
Go back to your country is code word. You're just a fucking nigger. Fuck you. That's what the code means.
Like, with a stick, just
what?
Speak.
Excuse me?
Just with a stick. Don't say like that.
Excuse me? Excuse me? I was born and raised here. I am Canadian.
You relax. It doesn't matter. We're all Canadian.
No,
You relax.
you're not Canadian.
Yes, we're all
No,
the same.
you are not.
You're a human being. I'm a human being.
In this woman's mind, Canadian's code word for white.
You are not Canadian.
Special about you.
No, you are not Canadian.
It does not matter.
You
that
know
doesn't
what?
make me.
You know what? I have a different opinion than you,
I don't care.
and I don't give a what you think.
I don't care what
How
you
about that?
say. I don't
How
care
about
what
that?
you say.
Good for you.
Well, good for you too.
You pay taxes, my friend.
Of course I pay taxes.
You pay taxes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You are taxes.
Yes. Everybody pays taxes.
Oh, everybody pays
Yes.
taxes, really?
Yeah.
You do.
Of course I.
You were born and raised here?
I pay more
All
taxes.
your friends pay taxes.
Tell me.
Excuse me?
Excuse
You know
me.
what? You're not dealing with one of your serious right now. You're dealing with a Canadian woman, and I'm not going to be talked down
Well, you're
to
the
by
one
you.
who turned around and talking to
I'm not going to be talked down to by you. So you laugh all you want. You know what? That's a prime example of why we don't want you here.
Okay. What else?
I think that's the realest thing old girl said. They do not want us here. Period. So, like I said, you can try to run to Africa, some other corner of the world, think you're gonna escape this shit, but you're not. You're not. Because as soon as you get something cracking and they want it, they're gonna come and blow your shit up and take it. As soon as they see you over there having fun and happy, they're gonna bring their miserable asses over there and destroy it. So keep on playing games, keep on thinking you can run from this thing, and don't fight. Or you can join with humanity, stand up in one voice, help get the black folks right, and then we'll help get the poor whites and others right once we get right. But we have to get right first. And then we can help others. We can't help no one in our present state of being. That's why I'm pro reparations. That's why I'm pro making all the tragedy of this nation right by putting tangibles in people's pockets that have been victimized by the system. Now, I know that's unpopular to say nowadays. Oh, we ain't no victim. Well, you can go and believe in the bullshit if you want. But I know a lot of brothers and sisters who have been victimized. All right. Now listen to this one, and then we'll wrap this one up.
The doctor that was not white, that did not help my kid. I would like to see a white doctor. You're telling me there's not one white doctor in this whole entire building? Yes, no. Stupid. Oh my God. Well, what's the closest that you have to speaking English? No, I stood there, and they only have brown doctors.
The woman repeatedly demanded that a white doctor who speaks English and, quote, doesn't have brown teeth treat her son. We've obscured her face in the video to protect the identity of her son. Linda Ward is on that story this morning. She's outside the Mississauga clinic where it transpired, and Linda can only imagine. Obviously, she was not alone in that clinic as this was going on, this rant. So what were people there saying, doing? How were they reacting?
Well, obviously, hearing something like this is not what you expect when you go for a visit to the doctor. And certainly several onlookers hearing as the woman demanded to see a white doctor for her son who was having chest pains. Many of those onlookers yelling back at the woman, some of them saying to her, you know, you need to take him to the hospital across the street to see a doctor over there. Why don't you take him somewhere else? And all the woman said was that she had gone and taken him to the doctor and that she wanted to see a white doctor. So lots of outrage. We did hear some of that on that tape where one woman actually confronted the woman who was yelling in that waiting room. Take a listen to how that played out.
I'm not going there with all those tacky doctors. I don't have.
Canada has some very racist women up in that motherfucker, don't they?
I need to go to Georgetown. There's got to be somebody that speaks English here.
Your child clearly has more issues with you being his mother than him needing to see a doctor. You are extremely rude and racist. You want to talk about Packy people being at a hospital? Maybe you should check yourself in.
And the police were called to this incident. They say that they have spoken to all parties involved and that the situation was resolved. The clinic behind me not making any specific comment about what happened in that waiting room, Heather.
But the man who captured that video has, Linda, and he shared it with us at CBC News. Very thoughtful in his response. Tell us more about what he has said.
Well, his name is Hitesh Bardwaj. He was waiting for a doctor.
Right. They have no problems telling this dude. They have no problem telling the name of the dude that filmed it, but then they have problems saying the name of the chick that got filmed. Did you guys catch that? They have no problem telling you his name. In fact, let's hear his name again.
Well, his name is Hitesh Bardwaj. He was waiting for a doctor in that waiting room as well. And he did take out his phone and start videotaping when this event started to play out. And here's what he said about why he thought it was so important to do that.
Something from inside me said that no, you should take a step. You should record it. It is obviously wrong. There's no, right or wrong answer. It's definitely wrong. You should share it with other people so that they know that people are not afraid to stand up against.
Recording a video of a person acting out racially is not necessarily standing up. I mean, I just want to throw that out there. Standing up is actually going to the voting box, getting the politicians that empower these people out of office and putting in politicians that will actually get reparations done. That's how you stand up.
Other people who are rude and racist to others.
And many people responding saying it's
exactly MW. So why didn't they ID the heifer? And she was a heifer. She looks like a big old fat bumblebee filled with honey in her ass. You know what I'm saying? A big old stinger. And we know why. We know why. Because of the fact that when the cops showed up, they were looking for brown people to beat up, but all the brown people in the building had PhDs. So, they didn't want to beat them up per se. And for those who don't understand, in English society, and Canada is pretty much is an English colony still, there is extreme hatred against people of Pakistani descent. Kind of goes back to the old days when the colonizers went into India and Pakistan and all that, and they offered some resistance. So if everyone likes to point the finger at the black man and woman in North America, the African American or the Negroid American, but really you are all in this boat. If you're not blue-eyed, blonde hair, fair skin, you are all in this boat. Eventually, like I said, first they'll deal with us, eradicate us, and then they're coming for you. Then they are coming for you.
It's encouraging to see people standing up to behavior like this. Now, we haven't been able to identify this woman. We have made several attempts to do that, but we've been unsuccessful. But
all they had to do is go in there and ask the people at the fucking desk. When she walked up in that motherfucker, first thing she said, "My name is Big Fat Stupid Bitch, and this is my dumbass kid." That would have been the first thing out of her fucking mouth. Now, they could get this bitch's fucking name and probably address too if they really wanted to, but they don't want to. Why should they? Don't forget, racism don't affect her in a negative way. She won't want us to have to go out of her way to find a group of minority people angry enough to want to hurt her in any kind of way.
But it is worth mentioning, Heather, that the woman's son did eventually receive treatment in this very clinic.
Boo. I would say, no, we can't serve you. Here's another Canadian chick. Hold on.
Speaking in Chinese. Oh, shut up. Speaking in Chinese is right. Shut up. You're rude. Speak English, Canada. Rude as fuck. Who do I complain about? Shut up. You're rude. You are rude. Go somewhere else.
So what the hell do these bitches think they look good in these stretch pants? Because they don't. They look incredibly fucking tacky as fuck. Big ass fucking clown feet on this heifer. Fucking fat ass nose and shit.
Who do I complain about to her? Give me the number. What's your store number? On the top of the receipt. Okay, can you finish with me?
Hey, Sharon is a most like a mood manager here. She said she would do my program. Yeah. No, Sharon, I can talk to her. Yes. Over there.
You? You want a manager to talk to me? You bring your manager here.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to me, you bring your manager here, you idiot, or go speak Chinese with your other staff and shit talk.
Now, if that was a black chick, the Asian dude would have went into her. The Asian dude would have beat her ass right then and there if that was a black chick. You know, reason why? Well, I just bring you videos that proves that. Because they have no respect. See, he respects her to know that if he goes flying into her, there's going to be a bunch of dudes that'll be beating his fucking ass.
Somewhere else. Get him somewhere else. What the hell is going on? If you start fights with all your fellow people, then get him in the back. That is rude. Shut up and get out of here, you idiot. That's fucking rude. You know about what? You know about what? Things having tripping fights and you have to speak in a different fucking language, shit talking me in front of your staff. That's pathetic. Get him out of here. It's rude. Shut up! Okay. Shut up! Fucking idiot.
And there you have it, yeah. Hold on. Asian store owner beats up black woman. Yeah, here we go. You guys don't understand. These Asian people, I mean, a lot of these Asian dudes, they don't play that female shit. They'll smack your ass up quick. Look at this. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Now, we just saw this Asian dude get berated by this chick. Now, let's see how these Asian boys be throwing these hands. Brother Junior, welcome to the show. What the hell? Where's the video? Oh, my God. Hold on. And I promise this will be the last video, and then we're gonna. All right.
Get off of me! Get the fuck off me, T! Get the fuck off me, T! I swear, get off of me! You're hurting
get off me, T!
Get off of me now! Come on!
You notice the hands-on approach, but here, hold on.
Then get him in the back. If you want to talk to me, you bring your mind.
See, he's like, oh shit, I can't fuck with her. But this one over here, he goes straight up MMA on her ass.
No, come on, no. Leave me the fuck alone! Leave me alone! Oh my! I don't care one more time. Hit me. Oh my God! No! See what happened? Oh my God! Get the fuck off me! I'm ready to see your boy tweet. Get the fuck off me! They jump me. More than jump me. Her. All jump me. Jump bitch. They see that. Oh my God! Come on, please! Stop! Please! Stop! Please stop! Please stop!
Yeah. So I just want to let you guys, I just want to share that with you. Hopefully this answered the question that the confidential informant sent me. And nah, shit ain't changed. And it's not going to change till you get off your ass and make it change politically. It's not going to change until we get reparations. And there is a true amends made for the wrong treatment we have received. And if you don't accept that, if you don't think that's real, then continue down this bullshit ass road and you're going to end up on a train going to a furnace. And that's it. You're done. I tried to warn you. Others tried to warn you. But it's time to either wake up and get with it or go off quietly and die in the night, bitching and moaning, blah, 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 acting retarded. So this will conclude TPIM SR Live today. Hopefully this is giving you something to think about. Perhaps me even inspired you to do your own research on this issue so that you can see that I am not lying. And if I have mistaken or if I misspoken, please, by all means, point it out to me in the comments. Say, True Power, you're wrong on this. You know, there's no such thing as racism. Everything is hunky-dory. We're all kumbaya, blah, 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 etc., etc. If I'm mistaken. If I'm not, please, please, please get out, get up, and do something before it's too late. Now the show's over. Well, thank you all for watching. Please live your life of integrity without hate, envy, or greed. As always, brothers and sisters, I sincerely ask that you please be kinder to one another. Peace and power, unity and victory, dignity and respect. Liberation. I'm out.